Hi there! Today we're going to be doing a couple fun and easy science experiments to learn about solubility. For this, you'll need some granulated sugar, some salt, a heat-safe measuring cup, some measuring scoops, and some cups of about the same size. Alright, for our first experiment, we'll be testing the solubility of sugar versus salt. To get started, you'll need 2 scoops of about equal size, and to make things easier, I'm going to put the sugar and salt in these bowls so I can get nice even scoops. Going to put salt in this one and sugar in this one. We know that both salt and sugar will dissolve in water because water is considered a universal solvent for polar molecules, and both salt and sugar are polar. Being polar means that they have a charge on each of the molecules that make them up. The scientific name for salt is sodium chloride. Second, we're going to just write this on this little piece of paper here. So this, and that's written as NaCl. And the scientific name for table sugar is sucrose. I want you to write that here. Some in each bowl. Okay. All right, let's move those to the side a little bit. Then we're going to grab one cup for each. And we're going to fill the cups with equal amounts of water. The water in this measuring cup is just room temperature water from the tap. I'm going to pour 1 cup into this scoop and then pour it into one of the cups. All right. Now, we're going to start by adding scoops of salt to this cup of water next to it. Get a nice even scoop. There. And you're going to need something to stir it with. I'm just going to grab a straw that I have. Just going to stir that. And you want to stir it until it's completely dissolved. Whenever something dissolves in water, we call this water soluble. It'll dissociate. This means it'll break down into the individual molecules. So salt, which is sodium chloride, will break down into sodium and chloride. All right, that scoop is fully dissolved. So we'll add another. So far that's 2. See, it doesn't seem to be fully dissolving. As you can see, it's very cloudy, and if you zoom in, there appear to be little salt particles floating around. When a liquid can't hold any more of something, we consider that saturated. So now we're going to start adding sugar to this cup. Let's get a new straw real quick. scoop of sugar. So you can see here, the sugar actually dissolves much more quickly, so we're gonna go ahead and add another scoop. Sure, it's an even scoop. All right, it's dissolved. I'm going to add one more. It's 3. All right, it may take a little bit longer. All right, that's fully dissolved. So we'll go ahead and add one more. That's 4. So as we can see, the sugar is very soluble, and we've already added twice the amount of sugar that we have salt to the same amount of water. All right, and I think that's as much sugar as we can put in there. See, there's still like little granules of sugar at the bottom of the cup when you... All right.
So we saw in our first experiment that more scoops of sugar could be dissolved in 1 cup of water than scoops of salt in the same amount of water. This means that sugar is more soluble than salt. It dissolves better, but why is that? Well, here's why. The scientific name for salt is sodium chloride, written as NaCl, and there's a model of it right here on this slide. A molecule of sodium chloride is made of 1 sodium atom and 1 chlorine atom. The scientific name of table sugar is sucrose. It is written as CH118-Y6. A molecule of sucrose has 12 carbon atoms, 22 hydrogen atoms, and 11 oxygen atoms. There's a model of it here on this slide. And as you can see, sucrose is a much bigger molecule than salt. And because it is bigger, water has more contact with it, and thus it is more soluble.
All right, for the next experiment, we'll be testing the solubility of sugar at different temperatures. So you'll need 2 more cups, and you'll also need some cold and some warm water. This cold water is just water I put in the fridge for a little bit, and warm water from the tap will do just fine. So first, let's begin with cold water. I'm going to measure out a cup of cold water. And I kept our cup of sugar and water from earlier with the room temperature water for comparison. All right, let's begin. All right, 1 scoop. Let's grab a straw to stir it. Taking a little bit to dissolve completely. All right, that's dissolved completely. Let's add another scoop. 2 scoops. I'm gonna mix that for a little longer, but it doesn't seem to be quite dissolving. Right? You can see here, even though we've mixed it quite a bit, there's still several little granules of sugar still in the bottom that aren't mixing in. So that was 2 scoops. All right, for our next step, you'll need to get some warm water. This is just warm water from the sink. If you'd like, you could boil it, but don't try that without parent supervision, or you could even get a parent to help. All right, and you'll need another cup to put it in. We're going to measure out 1 cup of water, just like we did with the others. I'm going to pour it in the cup. All right, and then we're going to begin adding scoops of sugar to it. Right? Oh, you can see that's dissolving very quickly. Let's go ahead and add another scoop. All right. Good. Might have to get some more sugar. All right, that's number 3. All right, that's dissolved. I'm gonna have to put some more sugar in my bowl. Four. All right, that's already dissolved. It's another 5. It's taking a little longer to dissolve, so we might be getting close. Okay, it's dissolved. 6. It's taking quite a bit of stirring. All right, that's dissolved. 1 more. 7. Careful not to spill as you stir. All right, that's dissolved. Let's see. 8. All right, I don't think it can hold anymore. Up, start. See, there's a lot of little particles that no matter how much you stir aren't dissolving. So that's 8 scoops. So we see that we were able to dissolve more sugar in the warm water than either the cold or the room temperature water, and we were actually able to dissolve less sugar in the cold water.
In our second experiment, we saw that more scoops of sugar could be dissolved in the warm water than the room temperature water and the cold water, and less scoops of sugar could be dissolved in the cold water than the room temperature water or the warm water. We can see that temperature affects solubility, but why? The simple explanation for this is the hotter something is, the more kinetic energy it has, and the colder something is, the less kinetic energy it has. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion. So the more kinetic energy something has, the faster the particles in it are moving. This is important because it means the particles collide more often, which means that it's easier for the solvent, which is the water molecules, to more effectively break apart the solute, which is the sucrose molecules,